What if I told you that no matter how much you achieve, how hard you work, or how successful you become, it will never be enough? That feeling that you're chasing, that moment where you finally realize that you are worthy and you are enough, it's a lie. It doesn't even exist. You either work yourself to exhaustion, terrified to slow down, or you hold back, doubting whether you're ever good enough to really go after what it is that you want. Either way, the problem is the same. You don't fully believe that you're enough yet because you've been tying your worth to what you do instead of who you are, and that is what's been keeping you stuck. And if this is resonating, it's because you've been caught in this trap for years, and if you don't change it right now, when would you? Hello, I'm Kirsty Elizabeth. I'm a certified mindset coach and energy healer, and I help women release the subconscious patterns that are holding them back and rewire their identity and energy so they can recode their reality. So this is kind of embarrassing and feels very vulnerable to share because I was always a private person before I started doing YouTube videos. And I always was someone that had a lot of pride in myself. I didn't want people seeing my flaws or my vulnerabilities or my weaknesses. But I want to have this conversation with you right now because this held me back for so long. This really kept me stuck and made my life quite painful. And I don't want the same for you. If you just listen to me for the next few minutes, I can save you years of frustration and pain, and I can help you create that shift inside that you've been looking for all along, but you thought you had to get it from somewhere else. And that is that for most of my life, over 40 years of my life, I never felt good enough. I never felt like I was enough. This led me into overworking, into burning out, into trying so hard at everything. It did not help that I had a belief instilled in me when I was very, very young, where my parents, bless them, and they only did this from love, told me that I would have to work harder than my sisters at school, at my exams, that I'd have to try much harder than them because it didn't come naturally. As a child, that gets interpreted as, I'm not good enough and I'll never be enough, right? So that didn't help things. And I found over my life, I've just tried so hard with everything that I've done. And anything that I've done that came easily or naturally, I've also dismissed, which means I've been dismissing my value all along. As an example, I ran a successful multi-million pound business with another business partner. In this business, I hit so many milestones and goals that anyone in online business wants to hit. We had the 7-figure year. We had the multiple 7 figures. Every month we were bringing in tens of thousands of pounds worth of sales. We had a brilliant salary. We had a brilliant life balance because a lot of it was running on autopilot. So we didn't have to do a lot after the initial few years of setting it up, but I still didn't feel successful. I didn't feel fulfilled. I had all these beliefs and reasons. I was actually dismissing it because it was something that came very easily. And so when I then went to become a coach and an energy healer, I made myself mentally and emotionally start again. I dismissed that as my achievement because I was moving into a new industry, a new niche, and I was doing something new. And I just completely discounted the fact that this is who I was. This is what I've achieved because it was easy. And I've found that I've done that along my life so many times, even speaking to my coaching clients. And then I ask them about their life up until now, and so many of them discount decades of their life, whether it's in their work or their personal life. They just sort of just want to draw a line through it and cross it out and say it didn't count because they haven't achieved the goals they wanted to achieve. They haven't got the money, they haven't got the lifestyle, they haven't got the relationships. And so they just completely dismiss a big chunk of their life when that part of their life, they would have achieved so much. They still would have had successes. They still would have had wins. It would have turned them into the character they are today. It would have helped them build qualities and skills and talents, gifts. There would have been hidden gifts in there as well. But it gets dismissed. And this is just a sign that we are tying our worth outside of us. And actually, we are holding ourselves to such high standards, such impossible standards, that we will never feel enough. And even when we hit those goalposts, even when we move and achieve those things we said we wanted to achieve, we're already on to the next thing. We're already on to the next goal because that still didn't make us worthy. That still didn't make us feel enough. There's still something missing. There's still something that we are looking for. What if that thing you've been looking for was never outside and that's why you've never been able to find it up until now? It was always an inside job. I know we hear this all the time. But Worthiness isn't something we have to prove ourselves or earn or justify. It's not something we're born into a family with. It's something we choose to be. It's a decision we choose to make for ourselves. And you can make it any point. You can make it right now. You just choose and you decide to start seeing yourself as worthy of what you want, because all the time we see ourselves as unworthy. We're pushing away the things that we want because we're telling ourselves deep down we're not good enough. We're telling ourselves we have to work so hard to achieve it. We're telling ourselves we have to struggle and be on the brink of burnout to actually earn what it is that we want. What if you didn't have to earn it? What if you were rightfully able to create abundance and success and joy in your life just by being on this planet, just by being alive? It's not in these outside things. They're not going to give us anything. We mistakenly feel that they're going to make us feel a certain way. It's going to make us suddenly be worthy or be enough. But that's just not how it works. And going back over the years, I kept myself so busy, and I always told myself it was because I like to be busy, because I get bored easily. There's definitely a little undiagnosed ADHD going on in there, for sure. That said, why couldn't I rest? What was the fear and the belief under resting and relaxing and slowing down and having more fun? Feeling like I had to be on all the time was a way that I was proving myself worthy, was a way that I was earning my right to the success, the money, and what I had in my life. And it just never needed to be that way, because that also led to burnout, to exhaustion, to just completely hitting a rock bottom moment in my life. Because all the time we're striving, we're also pushing it away, and we're also reinforcing the idea that what is out there shows us whether we're worthy or not. And because we're not getting the results we want, because we haven't achieved the goals we want, we're telling ourselves we're not worthy, even though the reason we haven't achieved them is because we're already believing that our worth is in them and not within us. So this really becomes a trap. And until we heal our self-worth wounds, the wound or the fear that we're not good enough, we continue to perpetuate this cycle over and over again for years, for decades. But you can stop it right now. If you don't, the wound just gets deeper. You are literally training your brain to believe that you have to do more to be valuable. You have to achieve more to be valuable. That you're not valuable exactly who you are right now. And the other side of this is just not feeling good enough to go after your goals in the first place. Feeling that you're not good enough to step out there and do the things that you want to do. This popped up for me very, very recently. I mean, like last week. For a while now, I've seen myself running these amazing events, these amazing retreats all over the world, beautiful healing retreats. Yet for some reason, I had never done an in-person workshop in my local area, because I didn't feel like I was ready enough. I didn't feel like I knew enough. It was all rubbish. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I know enough, right? And you know I can talk to you like this. But there was still that thing in me, that subconscious hidden self-worth wound saying that, but what if I'm not good enough to be out there doing an in-person? What if I'm not good enough? And so I'd already decided that I'm enough. I decided I'm good enough. I decided I'm worthy for the life that I want. I know that. And when the opportunity came and I took it and I went along to that workshop, I felt at home. There was no resistance. I felt like I belonged there. I felt like this was where I should have been all this time. So those self-worth wounds, those stories, those beliefs that you're telling yourself, what you want isn't for you. You're not good enough. You're not qualified enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not young enough. You're not thin enough. You're not funny enough. You're not interesting enough. You're not experienced enough. You don't have enough money to warrant it. You don't have enough results to justify it. It's all BS. Because the thing that you want is meant for you. And it's just your fear of not being good enough, your self-worth wound that is stopping you from taking that action. But when you decide you're worthy and you take the action, you'll realize it was there all along for you. So what I've learned from all of this is all the time I thought I was chasing success, chasing my achievements, chasing results, and that I was addicted to work. I was actually addicted to finding and proving my self-worth, which was within me all along. It was futile. And that's why it never gave me the outcome that I wanted. I also realized that no one was going to come and tap me on the shoulder to tell me I'm ready. No one was going to come and tell me I'm good enough. No one was going to come and give me permission to go after the things that I wanted to go after. I had to do that to myself. I had to give myself permission. I had to decide. When I finally embodied the decision that I was worthy exactly as I am, it wasn't because I hit a milestone. It wasn't because I made X amount of money or got this car or got this house. It was actually in my biggest rock bottom moment of my life when I realized if I continue like this, life is going to continue to be painful. I'm going to continue to suffer. I'm going to continue to strive for something that isn't even there. I'm trying to strive for something that I'm not going to find because I'm looking in the wrong place. When I finally decided that I was worthy exactly as I was and I was not going to let the outside world tell me otherwise, I actually felt sad because I realized there was a little girl inside of me that for all these years, for all this time, has been trying to prove herself. That was desperate for someone to tell her she was doing a good job. That was desperate to hear that she was good enough. That was desperate to just be seen and heard and loved and accepted exactly as she was. And she was screaming out for attention all these years, all these decades. And when I felt that, when I realized that, I also realized the only person that could have ever given it was me. So I gave that girl inside of me love, acceptance. I told her she was worthy. I told her that she was good enough exactly as she was. And this is where the healing starts. This is where the transformation comes. This is where everything changes in your life. This work is so important. How you feel about you will affect everything in your life. You are worthy exactly as you are. It doesn't matter what's happened in your past. It doesn't matter what's ahead of you. It doesn't matter how challenged you are right now. You're worthy for being you. You are 1 in 8 billion, almost 8 billion people on this planet. There is no one like you. You are one of a kind. Doesn't that make you special? Would you look at the newborn babies and children in this world and tell them they had to earn their worth? Would you tell them that they weren't worthy unless they strived and they fought and they tried really hard? Would you tell them they weren't worthy to go after their dream of being an astronaut, a fireman, a policeman, whatever it is the kids always come up with wanting to do? No, you'd tell them to believe in themselves. You'd tell them they could do anything they put their mind to. You'd tell them they can have anything. You'd tell them that life is full of possibilities. So why not do the same thing to you? You need to be told this by you. No one can tell you this. This is your job to tell yourself. And I really hope this video has created that shift inside of you because you are worthy beyond belief. You can have anything that you want. And I love you so much. And it's time that you started loving you too. So if this video struck a chord and you know this is the work that you want to do and you want to go deeper, you don't want to do this on your own. You're looking for someone to guide you and coach you. I have just launched from a massive download I got a couple of days ago after a meditation. I've just launched a beta round of a program that I'm calling Iconic, which is all about the ultimate self-worth activation. It's rewiring your identity, your energetics, and all of your beliefs and behaviors to be the most iconic and worthy version of you. If that sounds like something you could be interested in, there are limited spaces. At the moment, it's 80% off. The price will increase and then it'll be 70% off for this first round only. If you like the sound of it, click the link in the comments and go and check that out because we'll be starting in just over a week and it's going to be amazing. And in the meantime, I hope you have an amazing day. You are amazing. I love you and I'll see you in the next video.